Hi there, welcome into Beyond the Blast Doors, episode 21. We are back. David Gilbert, David Amlati, two of your hosts. Nick is entertaining the girlfriend, and Jesse's out sick again. That guy is contracting disease after disease after disease.
We should get him, injections, immunizations, flu shot.
We gotta do something. I wonder if he got his flu shot.
I haven't yet, have you?
I have.
Oh.
I got it about a month and a half ago.
Better than I am.
This is not a medical podcast. This is a Star Wars podcast, a podcast where we talk about everything that is Star Wars related, and it's been a month hiatus. We had a computer fire.
And then a second computer issue, right?
And then a second computer issue, and then we had illness and work and all these things, but we regrouped.
But we have, a better design set. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, we have, a monitor with, the swooshy graphic, if you're watching.
Which used to be over there.
Yeah,
and now we've got, a less awkward table.
Yeah, we were, opened up. This is actually a professional setup.
This is cute.
I mean, it's going really well. We picked a really good week to come back. We're just going to jump right into it. Real Talk. Real Talk is the segment where we talk about everything that's movie related. That could be the saga films. That could be the standalone movies. That could be the 2008 Clone Wars movie. It could be a brand new trilogy that we had no idea we were getting about. And that kind of leads us into the first topic of the segment, because we now know Rian Johnson will get his own trilogy. He will helm it. He will direct and write the first one. He will then executive produce the second and third installments. And we've got a quote here from StarWars.com. It says, quote, Lucasfilm is excited to announce that Johnson will create a brand new Star Wars trilogy, the first of which he is also set to write and direct, with longtime collaborator Ram Bergman on board to produce. As writer-director of The Last Jedi, Johnson conceived and realized a powerful film of which Lucasfilm and Disney are immensely proud of. In shepherding this new trilogy, which is separate from the episodic Skywalker saga, Johnson will introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never explored. Quote, "We all loved working with Rian on The Last Jedi," said Kathleen Kennedy, president of Lucasfilm. "He's a creative force, and watching him craft The Last Jedi from start to finish was one of the great joys of my career. Rian will do amazing things with this blank canvas of this new trilogy." And then we have a quote later on from Johnson and Bergman collectively. They say, "We had the time of our lives collaborating with Lucasfilm and Disney on The Last Jedi. Star Wars is the greatest modern mythology, and we feel very lucky to have contributed to it. We can't wait to continue with this new series of films." So really exciting to hear from Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy that we're going to have this brand new trilogy. Of course, nobody knew that this was going to be happening. And so, David, you get the news. What was your reaction when you first see it on your phone that there's going to be this new trilogy with Johnson at the helm?
First thing wasn't about the new trilogy. It was actually about this upcoming movie. Because if they thought it was so phenomenal that they're giving this guy 3 more movies to do, I mean, that just gets me even more jazzed for The Last Jedi.
I think the theme here is Disney is bold. And Disney has been bold, I'd say, going, the last decade plus, right, with the MCU, and then acquiring Star Wars, acquiring Lucasfilm. The fact is, we have not seen what Rian Johnson has done with The Last Jedi.
I've seen 2.5 minutes of it.
Yeah, if you paste all the trailers together, right? But we don't really know the story. And there's a reveal in this story that we have no idea what it is. And Disney, Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm, the story group, is so confident in Rian Johnson that he's going to get his own trilogy.
And that speaks volumes, since they fired 3 directors from 2 movies in the last 6 months.
Well, and that's the thing, though, is because if you think about it, he's the only one that really hasn't given them trouble. And
Abrams has done well.
But there was some moments of...
But they haven't given him 3 more movies either.
Right. Well, Ryan, remember, on Force Awakens, they had the whole writing snafu. You had the Michael Arndt script that you threw away, and you brought in Lawrence Kasdan to kind of patch that up. Here's my thing when I'm thinking about this, too, is the only other guy that's written and directed a Star Wars movie, gone on to executive produce 2 more in a trilogy, is George Lucas himself. I mean, we're talking about the creator himself doing this. I mean, this is quite the shoes to fill. I mean, by the end of this, aside from Lucas, Rian Johnson will have had his hand in the most Star Wars films. I think something that might excite you, David, and I think it excites a lot of our listeners, those watching on YouTube, is that it's not going to be part of that Skywalker saga.
I'm excited about that. Very much.
And why? Where do you think we're going to go with this trilogy?
I don't know, because when I first started looking into this, I scoured some other articles on the web to see what other people were thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the things we know are off the table, so like no Clone Wars, no Mandalorians that we're seeing in any of the animated series. It seems like we're going somewhere new. But there's a lot of conversation that I'm reading is, are we going like new, where it's just completely new that we don't know anything about this? Mm-hmm. Or are we going to go into something more like the old extended universe that is not part of canon anymore, so it doesn't technically exist, but it still exists? So could we be seeing like a Knights of the Old Republic? I mean, I think Disney's going to have to figure out, are they going to take the gamble to do a few more movies that do not have lightsabers, or very minimal lightsabers in it, kind of like they did with Rogue One, which could work, or are they going to do something that has more sword fighting in it and more?
I think everyone's mind right now is looking at two sub-worlds of the Star Wars galaxy that they'd love to explore more. One is that Knights of the Old Republic that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. The other is Underworld. There was talks of a video game that explored the bounty hunter realm and the underground world of Coruscant and the galaxy.
That'd be kind of neat.
And there was talks of maybe a live action series, that there were scripts out there examining the underworld. I don't know, but those seems to be the front runners of what people want to see. This trilogy too it's apart from the Skywalker saga. Mm-hmm. What's there to say that this saga isn't a tangent of Episode 7, 8, 9 that we're getting right now? Could this trilogy be where we find about the Knights of Ren? Is it a side story with Rey or Poe or Finn?
I don't know, because everything I've read kind of says that they're doing something new and different. So, like, if they are going to take it off in a tangent, I could see them doing like a, if they are going to go into the underworld, maybe they'll do a Boba Fett or Jango Fett thing, since they've already had talks about doing a spin-off movie and then canceled it. So maybe they do something like that.
It's possible. I really do believe they are going somewhere that we haven't explored in this official canon yet. So I think it's going to be, it is not going to be part of this 1 through 9 stretch. Mm-hmm. I do like the idea of Episode 9 kind of concluding the Skywalker saga. Mm-hmm. But now if you're to bring back Luke as a Force ghost and 10, 11, 12 down the road, I'm not opposed to that at all. But you mentioned the Knights of the Old Republic, and that kind of leads into our next topic here in Real Talk. And by the way, if you have any thoughts of what this new trilogy could be with Rian Johnson, if you feel confident about Rian Johnson helming it, or maybe you don't, do us a favor. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and comment down below and let us know what you think. Right now, tell us, do you or do you not agree with Rian Johnson getting his own Star Wars trilogy? We've kind of locked down. We're going to have Star Wars now at least for the next decade. Mm-hmm. Between the standalones, the episodic film that we still got to get with Episode 9 in 2019, mm-hmm. And then, of course, with this new trilogy, very exciting stuff. Next topic, though, is Knights of the Old Republic. It could be coming to a streaming service, I should say. Maybe I shouldn't get ahead of myself. I really want it to come to a streaming service. Disney confirms a new live-action series in the works for its 2019 streaming service. And this was over a phone call that Bob Iger was on with investors. And he's saying he released a lot of different projects, but it included a live-action Star Wars series in developments. And we've talked about before on this show, do you go back in the past? Do you do a standalone Knights of the Old Republic video as a one-shot, as one of these standalone films, a Star Wars story, or do you give it a trilogy that Rian Johnson has, or do you bring it to streaming? For a couple years now, ever since Netflix got those Marvel series, David, it just kind of seemed to make sense that a Knights of the Old Republic episodic, that episodic structure would work really well. And a lot of fans are thinking this might be it. What do you think?
I'm all on board for it, because I look at movies now and TV now, and then I look at the way they were 10 years, 20 years ago when I was growing up, and it really seems like if you're trying to tell a really solid story, the best medium to do that's the small screen, because better writers are going to it. Mm-hmm. We now have writing rooms. They can collaborate a little more, so you've got 10 people in a room writing story versus 1 or 2 guys sitting locked away for a 2-hour movie. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more collaboration. There's a lot more budget that's going into them with advertising revenue being able to bolster that, and we can see some really solid TV shows that have come out in the last decade, everything from Breaking Bad to Lost to some of the more sci-fi shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I would be all over if they had any sort of live action show that they did in the Star Wars universe, even if it is on their own platform that I have to shell out another couple bucks for.
I'm really excited about a live action series coming to the streaming service. 3 episodes. We sat at this table and we said, because that's when they announced that they were going to do a streaming service in 2019. We said this is how they're going to do it. And they're going to do a live action series to create the content so that they can pump it out. It makes so much sense. Knights of the Republic is something that fans have been clamoring for years. There's an online petition. It seems to make sense. Of course, there's no confirmation on what era that live action series is going to take place in. I'm curious to see who helms it. So we just talked about Rian Johnson getting that trilogy. Who takes on a live action series? And to me, it kind of sets up Dave Filoni. He's had success with Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, animated films, but he is like the next guy in line. This guy worked with George Lucas by his side for as long as he was on Clone Wars.
It's funny you mention that because he was on my list too, especially with this Rebels series wrapping up in the next couple weeks.
Well, we'll talk about that later. This is the fall half of the season ends. The actual series ends in the spring.
Oh.
But I think David Filoni really sets himself up to do this because I feel like they're grooming him to do a live action movie. I would love to see him do a standalone Ahsoka story or a standalone Obi-Wan.
What if we got an entire Ahsoka TV series?
That won't happen.
Oh.
I mean, that's why you have the book.
Well, I read the book.
And of course,
now I want more.
Yeah, I know. Well, see, it's a good book, and you were bashing me originally because you're like, this isn't a good book.
Well, it wasn't, and then it was.
It really picked up, didn't it?
It did.
It did.
The second half was much better than the first.
I'll tell you, though, that I'm excited no matter what this live-action series is. I think it's genius. We also got Follow-Up Story, and want to give a shout-out to StarWarsNewsNet.com for bringing all this information together, but they confirmed the fact that Disney's saying that their streaming service will be cheaper than Netflix. And that's interesting. We're going to be talking about that more later on in Stash or Blasted because obviously news broke recently that Disney and Fox were having talks at one time about selling some assets. So we'll get on that in a little bit. If you are excited about this news of a live-action Star Wars series, I want you to comment down below. Do you think it's going to be Knights of the Old Republic? Do you think it's going to be a bounty hunter world? Do you think it's going to involve Jedi? Will there be more lightsabers, less sabers? I don't know. I want you to tell me. Tell us down in the comments below. Next topic is something that I threw in there just out of selfishness, because ever since The Force Awakens, it became known that The Force Awakens was going to happen. Everyone talked about how Luke is going to ignite the green. There's a Japanese poster that came out a couple of weeks. And keep in mind, we've been on a month hiatus, okay? We had a computer fire, okay? The whole studio that we're in right now was covered in smoke, okay? So we're pulling this out from the past, but a Japanese poster shows Luke igniting the blue.
Can we display this?
Yeah, it's up on the screen right now. So if you're watching along, now of course you can always be listening on iTunes, and we appreciate you listening on iTunes. But if you want to get the full effect, watch us on YouTube because we throw up the beautiful images like I'm talking about now. And one thing you'll notice is, man, these are very large lightsabers. The blades are just massive. Like they're thick, kind of pulsating. I'm gonna leave it at that. But David, here's my thing: is I've been going on rants the last 3 months saying, I want him to ignite the blue, and it just makes the most sense to ignite the green. Mm-hmm. Does this excite you? Here's my thing: does that image right there make you believe we're gonna see Luke in action?
Yes.
But
I don't have much to say on this one. I mean, I saw this image. You showed it to me about 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. You texted me while I was at work. You're just giddy with anticipation. And so I'm staring at this on my phone for a good 4 or 5 minutes, trying to figure out what you're excited about. And then you finally followed it up by saying, like, look at the blue. So as I'm staring at this, I have this very, very profound thought. Would you like me to share this thought with you, David?
Yes.
I'm looking at this poster, and I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of neat. Then I put my phone down and went back on with my life.
So apparently I'm the only one that cares about this.
You are a lot more excited about this poster than I am.
Here's my thing. If Rey has the saber in Force Awakens, and still has it in the footage that we've seen in The Last Jedi with the trailers, there's something that causes Luke to have to pick up that lightsaber and ignite that. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Maybe it's just something to get everyone excited, and they're pulling on nostalgia with Luke with his blue lightsaber. But I want to believe there's something that happens that causes him to have to grab that lightsaber, pick it up, and fight. And I'm hoping it to do it with him and Kylo.
I mean, do you want me to keep commenting? Because if so, it's going to bleed into our next topic of the new trailer.
No, it's fine. We'll just go into the new trailer. The fact is, we got a second trailer that came out. We also had that 45-second spot with Luke in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
We also see a scene in that trailer where Luke's like sticking his big metal hand out from a house that has probably been like burnt or dropped upon him.
So we're assuming that's a house.
So I don't know. I just, in my mind, I'm thinking Wizard of Oz. His feet are going to curl up, and instead, here pops out this big metal hand, like, haha, bitches, So obviously he's in some sort of we'll call it a kerfuffle.
Okay.
If a building falls on him. So I don't think you have to worry. I think he'll be in some sort of danger, and he'll probably fight, and green or blue, it'll still be pretty kick-ass.
Well, fair enough. Okay, so we mentioned the fact that there was that second trailer did drop.
Mm-hmm.
We did a reaction to that, actually, here on the channel, which you can still watch if you go to our YouTube channel. You can find that right now.
Was I in that?
Yeah, you were in that.
I should go rewatch that.
Yeah, you probably should go rewatch that. Well, I want to talk about more specifically is that 45-second spot that we got where a lot of the footage we've seen already, but that first two shot, it's the first shot of the Falcon we've seen, but when we see Luke walking through the Falcon into the cockpit, he's looking around. It seems very familiar. He's turning the lights back on. He's been here before.
Had chills. They're multiplying.
That's a nostalgic beat that I want. That I want to experience. And we talked about before, Force Awakens, how it played on nostalgia, but it didn't give you the beats that you really wanted.
I don't know. I still think that scene where he and Chewie walk onto the Falcon, that's still...
Well, that's great, but then Chewie and Leia hugging at the end. Missed opportunity. But here's Luke walking on the Falcon, and that's really exciting. So, obviously, they have to get off of Octu at some point, and you know that he boards the Falcon. Obviously, this is going to happen, I think, earlier on in the film. I think it's... From what we've seen in the movie, the trailers, it seems that, obviously Octu is in the beginning. I'm thinking the Battle of Crate, the space battle and that land battle, that's the end. That's the third that's the third bit. And I'm thinking Canto Bight is that second part. Finn and Rose, they end up there at Canto Bight in the middle act. And then somehow we get to the Battle of Crate. But, no, I just wanted to bring that up, and I just think it's great to see Mark back in the cockpit. And, of course, the storytelling group has their plan, okay? They have the story in their head and some dots connected that they think is going to satisfy the fans the most. It's just a bummer that we couldn't, one more time, have Luke and Han on there together. But we move on. People die. That's life.
We have just about a month left, and I'm just... Stop giving me damn trailers and just let me go watch the movie.
All right. Well, if you agree with David that you just want to December 15th just show, I'm ready for December 15th. If you're into that trailer, if you appreciate that trailer, if you don't, here's this, because I'm asking 17 questions at one time. So this is the question queue. Okay, this is the question. If you have seen too much going into The Last Jedi, comment below whether you have or you have not seen too much from The Last Jedi. We've got 2 trailers. There's the international trailer. A couple spots are now popping up, depending on the channels that you watch at home if you watch cable television. So, have you seen too much? Have you not seen enough going into the movie? You let us know down in the comments below. Pages, Pixels, and Pieces is our next segment of the show. And we're jumping into Battlefront II. That game releases on November 17th. We're just days away, just a few days away from it. And IGN... posted a new video showing the first 15 minutes from the story mode of that upcoming game, and we see that Iden is captured by the rebels, and she manages to escape. And I will go ahead and say, now we are going to throw up the spoilers. I got a little excited and started going through the write-up, but we are going to say this is going to be spoilers, so just be careful. It has been published before how this game starts, but yeah, you do get to see her. She's captured by rebels. She escapes with her droid, and then it leads up to the events of the destruction of the second Death Star. So that's how the campaign starts. And David, we've watched parts of this. I watched all the way through, and I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, It's however much fun it can be watching someone play a video game, right? So you get a little bit of the campaign video, then you get some gameplay. I don't know, based on it, it looks really nice. What do you think?
I've only seen some still shots of this because I debated watching the 15 minutes, but decided no, because it's coming out pretty soon, and I want to enjoy it firsthand.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
We know the very basic premise from the video that came out a couple months ago, where they're on the Star Destroyer. But as far as the actual first 15 minutes of gameplay, I don't want to spoil it. But the few screenshots I've seen, I mean, the graphics are definitely still up there. Probably not as good as some of the promotional video.
Right.
But let's just hope that the gameplay's pretty good. I'm getting a little nervous because I get on those parts of the internet where they talk about things. I think they call it the Facebook.
Oh my god.
Is that what they call it these days?
Yeah.
And Reddit.
That was such a great save.
Well, we have this shiny thing now, and it distracts me.
No, yeah. So yeah, we
Because
need
like
the
force
monitor.
blinders. So
Yeah, you're fine.
on this part of the internet, and they're now talking there's going to be all sorts of ridiculous microtransactions, and that in order to unlock the first hero, you're going to have to play for like 40 hours of gameplay, and it's like. Then I remember that EA is still pretty hands-on with this game, right?
Here's my thing. I don't care how long you got to play to unlock whatever you want, because all fans did complain in 2015 that there wasn't a campaign,
That there wasn't enough.
and now, there was enough to do. You had 7 or 8 maps.
I
This
can be
is
sold on that logic.
all this campaign that you're gonna get, all this great storytelling.
See,
This is a
that's-
canon
and see,
story.
that's what I want the campaign. Like, I don't care about the multiplayer. I don't care about some of the scenarios. I want the campaign.
I'm most anticipated, and after watching some more video on YouTube, I'm probably most excited to play the Battle of Scarif, like the space Battle of Scarif.
Space battle?
Yeah.
You suck at those.
No, but here I'm telling you,
You
I
make
think
me look good at space battles in the other Battlefront 2.
I know in the old version. But here's the thing: I think they've made it a little bit more user friendly. I got to play a little bit when they released the beta for those couple of days.
Get on the beta?
Yeah, I did. I got to play for a couple of days.
Did both Nick and Jesse get on the alpha?
Yeah. No, just Jesse.
Just Jesse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse,
what do you think?
Jesse, we hope you're feeling good. I'm really excited about, from what I've seen, I'm really excited, but I think I'm most excited about, one, the campaign, second, especially the space battle experience. I think it's going to be really nice.
We should, bring over an extra television, and we can both play on the campaign mode, because it's only one player, right?
Yeah, single player.
So we should do that, like good old-fashioned LAN party.
Yeah, we'll...
You ever experienced LAN parties, or are you too young for
No,
that?
I experienced LAN parties in 2004 with Halo. Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. With the demo, we played that. We went to the same high school. I mean, we've probably spent too much of our life together. Let's go on to the next topic, because we love comic books on this channel, and we just got done reading Darth Vader #7. Darth Vader 7 was really cool, and it was last week's copy, and of course, Vader's taking on the Inquisitors, kind of training them, kind of taking the helm of the Inquisitor program.
But he's finally, not being a whiny bitch about this whole I'm Darth Vader thing. He's finally look at this. I've got power over these people, and just, starts cutting off their limbs. Well, what are you doing that for? To teach a lesson? Well, they'll never forget it. It's like...
That's the point. And also, take a look at the dialogue there. And here, again, every time we talk about this comic series, I am praising Charles Soule for his writing.
And his art?
Well,
I'm
Giuseppe
excited
does
for
the
the
art.
art.
Giuseppe
Okay.
does the art. And here's my Italian comic book artist. My paisan. The humor that Vader has in this. Because Vader is not a funny character. But he slices off the limb of the one. Mm-hmm. Well, it's just a leg. That's Vader's dry sarcasm. You watch the original trilogy, he's not funny. Mm-hmm. He's just that fearsome. And it's uncomfortable that you have to laugh.
Congratulations, you've been promoted.
Some people really don't like choking on your aspirations, that line from Rogue One.
Oh, I loved it.
See, I thought it was great. Mm-hmm. I thought it was great. It was a little punny, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. But not everyone's into it. But yeah, issue #7, it came out last week, and it was just really fantastic. Mm-hmm. It came out actually 2 weeks ago. What came out last week, or no, I'm getting all things confused. It's been a month. I got to get back in the routine of doing the show. But no, last week was Darth Vader 7. This coming week is going to be Star Wars 38.
I might actually start getting into this.
Well, you know who's in charge of it now?
Well, that's why I might start getting into
Kieran
this.
Gillen, who is the writer of the 2015 Darth Vader run.
Is that one that we have out on the set today?
Yep, it's on the front. We got volumes 1 and 2 there on the front that we always keep on the front of the set. So he's in charge of this. So he's taken over after Jason Aaron.
And they're going to Jeddah.
And so the premise of this is the fact that the battle, like the loss of the Holy City, it's still felt. So this is post A New Hope, obviously, but there's still like pain throughout the galaxy. There's still suffering because of it, and I'm really excited to go into this series now because I really did enjoy the story that Gillen told with that 2015 Vader run, and it'll be fun to see what he brings to this one because we've been saying it before is the Star Wars line since it started has had its ebb and flows.
Was this Star Wars line or was it Dr. Aphra that had the screaming citadel that we all...
It intersected.
Okay.
And he had his hands kind of on all of that stuff. Okay. But that's okay. Because, like, for example, Charles Soule also did Poe Dameron. I wasn't the biggest fan of Poe Dameron. Just going to be honest about it. But the guy hits home runs with Darth Vader. So, Star Wars 38, go definitely check that out. And you know what? I think this is a good time to mention, if you don't mind, a shameless plug. I've been going and doing a little bit of comic book hunting at our local comic book shop that we go to down in St. Louis. Also stopped in a comic book shop in Davenport, Iowa recently. And I have come across just a gold mine of Star Wars back issues and variants. And I want you to check those videos out. I've got 2 or 3 comic book hauls right now on the YouTube channel. So if you don't know, I mean, you should because you're watching or you're listening right now. You've heard me say it before, but go to YouTube, type in Beyond the Blast Doors. You'll find our channel. Scroll down. We have a playlist made for my comic book hauls. And if you have already seen those, actually, go in the comments right now and tell us whether or not you like those videos. Should I keep it just Star Wars comics? Because I've also been sharing, like, when I got, like, a Deadpool haul, and then I got a couple other, like, Marvel-type hauls that weren't Star Wars connected, but I was uploading those there.
We did a video of our top favorite comic books.
Yep, our top 20 favorite covers.
That I didn't listen to the instructions
Well,
to,
you did trades, and it's fine, but
but
it was great. But you can check that video out, too, on the channel.
I'm in it, so it's worth it.
Yeah, we just get a lot of support. There's a great comic book community on YouTube, and a lot of those folks check us out on the weekly, and they were very adamant about us getting back on to doing the weekly issues. They're like, your computer works again. Make a new episode. Yes, your wishes are command. So that does it for comic book talk. And the last thing I want to talk about real quick.
Before we go to the comic book talk,
yeah.
Did you see this promotional picture for the Star Wars, was it 38, where it's actually got the picture of Jeddah that's been, like, half blown apart?
Yes.
Can we show that? Because it looks like a really angry Pac-Man, and it's beautiful.
It's just, like, kind of like, yeah, like, and like, chunks of it are just flying through space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty. We're just gonna, like, kind of look at this.
Shot.
Yeah, we're gonna look at this for, like, another, like, second or so. But, yeah, I mean...
Speak for yourself. I'm still staring at it.
The illustration is pretty tremendous.
Because
Gillen is on this run... I am probably going to go back to buying the single issues and not waiting for the trades. I'm feeling pretty confident, especially going back to Jeddah. So there's the comic book talk. Let's jump to a little figure talk real quick. Hot Toys released a Last Jedi Rey training figure recently. I love Rey in these robes. Very cool. Comes with a couple of porgs. It's over $100. David, will you pick it up?
No. Not even the porgs will convince me to drop $100 on an action.
Have you found that body pillow yet?
No. What, body pillow?
Yeah, I thought there was a porg body pillow that you were looking for.
Body pillow?
Well, you're talking about a plushie, right?
I want a little plushie.
Oh, see, I want you to get I want to see if there's
Jesse was saying GameStop has them back in stock.
They do.
So I may have to go acquire one.
But I was under the impression there was a porg body pillow, and I was just trying to see if it would be bigger or smaller than you. You can cuddle it.
So now we're gonna move on to Stash It or Blast It. This is a segment where
Are you gonna do it?
No, because I always screwed up when I do it.
No, that's fine. Okay, so hey, Blast It or
Every
Stash It.
episode, I start the episode off because I do it, and then he's like, no, I do it better. So go ahead, you do it better.
Yeah, well, first off, it's called Stash It or Blast It, not Blast It or Stash It. Stash It or Blast It. And the first topic is Disney and Fox in talk. So we kind of alluded to this earlier in the episode, and that's the fact that Disney and Fox at one time were in negotiations for Disney to acquire several different assets of Fox. It's been documented by the media that Fox wants to be predominantly sports and news.
They want to get out of the movie business.
They want to get out of the movie business, and they own some big properties. I mean, for example, they have the X-Men. They did that really nice Deadpool movie a little while ago.
See, yeah, that's
they have
the one,
Fantastic Four.
That's the one. The Deadpool's the movies I think would lose if Disney acquired it, because they're not going to go with something that crude.
I would. Here's my thing. If it makes that much money, maybe Disney's like, we can have one R movie in the repertoire. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's fascinating. It sent the internet on a frenzy because they thought it was happening right now. But these were talks that happened in the past. But, David, you think about this. For Star Wars, what it means is basically the distribution rights would fall back into Disney's hands. So they could re-release A New Hope, and
That's where I think that the whole thing fell apart, because Lucas doesn't want his original cut to be re-released.
Well, Lucas doesn't have much of a say anymore. George Lucas sold his baby for $4.4 billion.
Which they've made back already.
Which they made back between the theatrical releases and the merchandising. They've already made it back. And the thing about it is you get a redistribution, you get to maybe release everything on Blu-ray, but you're not going back to the original trilogy.
Where the lightsabers pop out and they almost look white instead of blue.
You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. And I don't think fans really want that, but I think some of them do.
I do.
That would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
The VHS quality. But I think the bigger story here is for Disney, they already have the Star Wars line. What they want is that X-Men stuff. They want the Deadpool. They want to be able to keep their MCU juggernaut going for another 10 years. Because really that MCU it's going to be winding down. After Infinity Wars, I mean, you're going to replace a couple of heroes with heroines, and that's great, and that's fine. I'm all for it. I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of the MCU. But I think the big news here with the Disney-Fox talks isn't really a benefit for the Star Wars fans. I mean, I don't know if you get the 20th Century Fox. Dun, 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 I don't know if that comes back to the beginning of the movies. That's something that people say is part of this. So you get the distribution rights. Great. That's an opportunity for Disney to make some more money, I guess. But the real news is, I think, getting X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four in the MCU.
Nice to have a Fantastic Four movie that
doesn't suck. Yeah.
And I mean, I've really enjoyed the X-Men movies over the years, but they're so inconsistent in their quality. That'd be nice to have a little stability.
Yeah. And the thing about it is again, Disney's not trying to buy all of Fox. They're just trying to buy some of the assets. And I think, again, this comes to its streaming service in 2019. Disney is saying that they're not going to charge as much as Netflix because right now they can't provide the amount of content to their consumer. And so they're trying to get these other assets from Fox, and it makes a lot of sense.
See, I call shenanigans.
Okay,
they
why?
Have so many things that they could throw in there. They have, of course, all of their Marvel, all of their Star Wars. They have all of their Disney Channel shows that they could throw out there. Their Hannah Montanas, their High School Musicals. They have whatever's popular these days. They have all of their Disney XD shows, all of their cartoons. They have all of the classic cartoons that they could throw out there. The Mickey Mouses, the Chip and Dales, the Donald Ducks. They could go back into some of their golden 80s shows like the DuckTales, throw those out on there too, and I think those would be a big draw. If you really wanted to, they could reach out to some of their other corporations that they own. So you could have live sports on ESPN on the streaming service. You could have all of the Wonderful World of Disney, all of the ABC shows. So they have so much that's part of their Disney family that they could stack this thing up and charge $30 a month and people would do it.
But then it would cost. Here's the thing, though. Can they create all the new original content? And that's where Netflix right now is owning it. They're coming out saying that they want to feature, 80 films next year?
I think they said something like $4 billion from Netflix is what they want to invest in 2018 alone in original content.
Just incredible. And, some people get online and they ask, well, why doesn't Disney just outright buy Netflix? Like, why just buy Netflix instead of starting up their own streaming service? Well, if you look at the net worth of Netflix, I mean,
I don't think it's worth it for them.
It's like $60 billion. I mean, that's the price tag. Well, Disney doesn't have that money.
The only way that Disney could really whittle away at Netflix is by creating their own streaming service, putting better and more stuff on it, including their classic collection of stuff, and then having a better, taking all of their stuff off of Netflix too would hurt it quite a bit.
I absolutely agree. Exciting to see what happens. Nonetheless, in 2019, we're getting a Star Wars live action series, and I'm really happy about it.
Yep.
And it's going to be on the Disney streaming service, and I'll be a subscriber to it. Next topic, and we'll hit this one real quick. Star Wars Rebels. Obviously, we're in the fourth and final season of Star Wars Rebels. We're about to have the fall finale. Actually drops today. Well, depending on when you're listening to it. So Monday is when that finale will drop, and then we get a little bit of a hiatus, and we come back in the spring, and we get the second half of the season. And so far right now, David, in this first half of season 4, now you're going to put your ears down. It's too late.
I'm in season 2.
I know. It's your own fault for not getting caught up. So we're getting some battles on Mandalore. We're getting more of Saw Gerrera. We're not seeing a lot of the dynamic between Ezra and Kanan, and I guess I was expecting that a little bit more. But going into the second half, I guess what I'm hoping to see more of is that relationship between Master and his apprentice. And I wanted them to play with Ezra and the dark side, because there's been so much hinting that Ezra would be conflicted with the dark side of the Force, and we're not really getting that. What we have seen from Ezra a few times is him questioning the Rebel Alliance and its approach. Are they playing it too safe? Should they be more aggressive like Saw Gerrera and his band of rebels? So I think that'll be interesting. My thing is this. You know about the character Thrawn.
Yes.
And
you have a book on him somewhere back there. And
we got a book on him. Yep. The one thing I am curious to see, because I think this season is going to end, I think the series ends with the Battle of Scarif. Like, I think that's where we're ending it. Thrawn thinking is going to outlive this series, and would that be rewarding for you, or do you want to see these characters that we've learned about in the series, do they all need to be dead by the series end?
I didn't know Thrawn was in this series, so there's a spoiler for me.
You're so far behind. Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I guess I'm just having a conversation with the listener. Okay, cool. So I'm got a feeling that Hera is going to make it through, but I think Kanan and Ezra are just going to go off somewhere. I don't know if they're going to die anymore. We do know, I think, this is confirmed that Dave Filoni slipped and has confirmed that Thrawn will live through the end of the series. So that's kind of exciting.
He's blue.
Yeah, he's blue.
And he has a book about him.
God, you really need to get picked up with Rebels. You just really crushed my spirits there and the conversation. Do better. We're going to go to the next topic. I think David's going to have some more insight on this. Maybe not insight, but at least he'll have an opinion. Han Solo production is near wrap. There is a rumor of a possible teaser cut in circulation. Of course, we want to thank the good people over at StarWarsNewsNet.com for this story.
They haven't named it yet.
They have. They called it Solo.
Or did they?
Yeah.
When did they announce that?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh.
I even sent you the video.
Well, on the thing, doesn't it still say...
Ron Howard unveiled it in a Twitter video. Like, he's unveiled like half the movie already.
I don't remember that. Is he really? You're full of shit.
No. They announced it. It's Solo, a standalone story. Holo, a Star Wars story.
Well, that's not very creative.
No, they should have called it Han Solo at least.
I think I prefer Untitled Han Solo movie better than just Solo.
I don't even want to have that conversation.
Solo, is that Han or is that the red cup that you drink cheap liquor out of in college?
Isn't that the joke? Because they called it Red Cup originally. Like, that was the...
Is that what they called it?
That was the code name for it.
Nobody tells me anything.
Anyways, so
I'm gonna go look this
the
up.
rumor
Solo.
that came out recently, and StarWarsNewsNet.com gets the credit for this, is the rumor is that Ron Howard ultimately reshot 80% of the Han Solo movie. Isn't that insane? 80%. He was supposed to come in and just do a patch job. But if you think about it, Lauren Miller started in, January, and they got booted out in, May?
It was June. Was it May or June?
I think it was May.
Yes, it was, because Howard started at the end of June. He was on location.
So, Ron's been on location shooting this movie for the better part of 4 months now. He's been shooting almost as much as Lord Miller were.
And we know that he's taken a character out.
And put a character in.
And added at least one in.
Mm-hmm. So, here's my thing. I say, you should have just let the guy shoot all 100%. If he shot at 80%, you should have just let him have it be his own. But maybe they do have some in there with Lord Miller. But if it's really been 80% reshot, then Ron Howard is for sure your director on this movie. There's no Lord Miller credit for sure.
October 17th.
Yeah. So I think that's really fascinating. I want to see a trailer, and I'm assuming they're waiting to show it until after The Last Jedi comes out, not to confuse
Maybe
viewers.
We'll get it at The Last Jedi.
Well, that would be kind of cool to get it maybe Star Wars hasn't done a post credit scene before, but what if you get your first look at Solo?
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool, right?
I'd be excited. Well,
because
let me phrase it. I'd be interested in watching it. They haven't sold me on being excited for it yet.
I'm nervous about it because I've liked the last couple of years how it's been. You gear up, you get the movie in December, and then you cool down January through about May, and then you start talking about the next movie. I'm not sure I don't know if fan burnout's going to be a thing where you get Last Jedi in December, and then you turn around in May, and you get the Solo movie, but we'll see.
That's an awful title card.
Well, it can't be worse than the title card they used for Rogue One during the movie, right?
Yeah,
that was atrocious. Hey, you know what, though? It's okay, because at the end of the day, we're talking about Star Wars, and we're having fun, and we're going to tap the Fan Comlink, because this is our favorite part of the show.
Oh, I like this part of the show.
Where we start getting questions from you, the viewer, you, the listener. And first question comes in from Insane Soul, Brandon. He goes, what do you guys think about Reylo? What are your thoughts on the two partnering up? People are suggesting them as a couple. I think they're twins. David. He poses a lot in that question in the first place. Do you think they're twins?
I hope they're not dating if they're twins.
We've seen this before, haven't we?
History repeats itself.
It's genetics at this point. It's in the family blood.
I don't need a big love story out of Star Wars. Just give me a lightsaber and kill something.
Yep.
I don't think they'll end up together.
Okay.
Unless it's I don't want that. I don't need that.
There is no way that Kylo Ren and Rey are going to be involved at all romantically. There's just no way that is going to happen. I think Reylo is a stupid theory. You don't need two of the main characters to fall in love, and you don't need him redeemed. Kylo killed Han Solo. He's possibly going to kill off Leia. He needs to die as a Sith. He needs to be killed at the hands of Snoke. Snoke needs to kill him for failing, and then there needs to be that next man up. Just kind of like what we got in the prequels, right? Maul went down, you got Dooku. Dooku wasn't as effective, so he had to get Grievous as a pawn. I think it's gonna be. I think you're just gonna have another bad, and I think that Kylo is distracting us from the true baddie. And I don't know if it's Snoke either. Snoke could be a ploy too.
I really don't think that they're related either.
I don't want it to happen. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the rage that exists between them in Force Awakens, and there's no. I mean, everyone's asking, who's the girl? And Kylo is so interested in the girl. But he would know if he had a sister.
Yeah.
People, keep in mind, Ben was good for, a lot of years before he went bad. I mean, he only went to the dark side, within 5 years between
Force Awakens.
Between Force Awakens and then the Claudia Gray story, Bloodlines. It's less than 5 years before Force Awakens where he turned to the dark side. So it'll be curious to see there's no way Reylo is real, and I think it's a bunch of.
I don't like either one of those, Reylo or Twin Theory.
A lot of teenage girls just trying to get excited about stuff. Our good friend Steve over at Average Calamities asks, "What heroes would you like to see in the DLC releases for Battlefront II?" I want to start off with Rex. I'd like to see Rex. I'd like to see Thrawn. What do you think?
I'd probably have to go look at the big, long list of people who are already in it.
Would you like to be Jabba the Hutt? I think we always have, campaigns we always have, maps like Jabba's Palace, but you never get to play as a Hutt.
That'd be kind of fun.
Does a Hutt have, slow speed, not a whole lot of speed, not a whole lot of dexterity?
But, a major endurance, 30,000 health points. And...
Yeah. And then, he has, Greedo as his, his, side, that's his weapon is Greedo. Mm-hmm. So it's, security, I don't know. That's a real stretch. Yeah. I really want to see Rex. I think that would be a lot of fun. People want to see Greedo. A lot of people on the internet say they want to see Greedo. I think Rex would be fun. But I'm also obsessed with Rex and Cody clashing in Rebel Season 4. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want it to happen. Okay. I would love for, Cody to be an Imperial somebody, and then it's like they have to go face to
So
face.
Cody's not back yet?
Well, we don't know what's going on with Cody.
Oh. Okay.
That's a theory that I like. It's a theory that I say that I created, but I didn't create it. I mean, a lot of people were wondering about it. So Steve, thanks for that question. But yeah, Rex, and then you know what I want? I want an old Ben Kenobi.
Old Ben?
How fun would it be to be old
Versus
Ben?
young Ben?
Like mid-aged Ben.
Mid-aged Ben?
Mid-aged Ben.
Like gray in the beard and the
But a little
sides of the
red.
beard?
But a little red
Just
still.
a little
little
red.
blonde, whatever he is. We'll go with that. Star Raptor. What is your favorite ship in all of Star Wars? That's a great question. You have a smorgasbord to choose from. You have the original trilogy era. You have the prequels. You have, of course, this new trilogy. All the cool ships you saw in the Clone Wars and Rebel series. I think you get 2 picks. I think you get your duh pick, and then your creative pick.
Okay, you first.
Okay.
Because I've got it narrowed down to 4.
So this stinks because I want to just be like X-Wing. So if I was a single pilot, I'd want the X-Wing. But if I had a crew, I'd want the Millennium Falcon. It just would suck to back it up, but it'd still be fun. I think that my favorite ship in all of Star Wars... Man, I should have done this wrong. I think the Executor, Vader's Super Star Destroyer, Empire, and Return. What I'm kind of curious is, I've read online recently that there's some speculation the Eclipse makes an appearance in either Episode 8 or 9, and the Eclipse Star Destroyer was Palpatine's Star Destroyer. And it was really cool because it looked like a Star Destroyer, but then it kind of came down in the front.
It's called the Eclipse?
The Eclipse. It's from the expanded universe, so it's not technically canon any longer. But it would be really cool to see that ship in action and see if there was any Sith artifacts that were stored on that ship, or if there was some kind of some data bank of his files or something. I don't know what you would do there, but it'd be kind of cool to see the ship.
The Wikipedia even has a manufacturer, the line, the model, the class, the technical specifications.
Well, all those ships have that.
That's hysterical.
It exists.
I'm glad there's nerds out there who do this. This is great.
I wish I was one of those nerds to be paid on it. What's your favorite ship, man?
Okay, so right now, I'm immediately going to the classic TIE Fighter.
Oh.
Well, first of all, the only Rebel fighter that I like is the X-Wing.
Okay.
All of their other ships are stupid.
Okay.
The A-Wing, the B-Wing, the Y-Wing, they all look dumb.
Okay.
The X-Wing's the only one that's kind of badass. All of the other great ships are all the Imperial ones.
Okay.
And I absolutely love the TIE Fighter, the TIE Bomber. One that's going through my mind right now that I have the Lego set for is Yoda's Starfighter that kind of has the same...
You like Krennic Shuttle a lot.
I love Krennic Shuttle. Oh, I love
Krennic Shuttle is cool.
That's another one I like. Just all the Imperial shuttles are just really neat with, their triangular thing.
Well, the Empire did nothing wrong. They were just trying to bring order and simplicity to the galaxy.
Right. Totally. You rebel scum.
Well, that's going to do it for the Fan Comlink, and that's always a favorite of ours, and we think it's a fan favorite too. Real quick, staying on target is the last segment of our show.
So I did a thing.
Okay, cool.
Did I tell you about this thing?
I don't know. Tell me about the thing.
So I was spring cleaning. Yes,
Okay.
I know it's the fall, so I'm a little late.
Okay.
And I found a gift card.
Or super early.
I found a $50 gift card to a large manufacturer, and so I went to their store and I bought something. And what
did you get?
It's a Lego set.
Okay, and what'd you get?
It's Krennic Shuttle. So I'm really excited.
So then why wasn't that the immediate response when you were doing answering the last question? Because it was what's your favorite ship? Well, you just spent $80 on this damn ship.
Well, I didn't. Somebody else gave me $50, and then I spent $30. So I did a thing. I got Krennic Shuttle, and I'm really stoked to build it. Yeah. So you're going to have to get some Legos. Okay.
I don't think there's a set out there, though I would be interested in getting the TIE Silencer. There's just... I don't think the new movies mean enough to me. Because here's the thing, when the prequels came out, I was obsessed with everything in the prequels because I was young and it was new.
And you were stupid, we get it.
I still think all that stuff looks cool.
Some of it.
But I think I'm kind of crabby older fan now. I'm 25 and I have higher standards now. But
that 8,500 piece Millennium Falcon set.
No, that one's only a couple thousand. I did not buy the 8,500 Millennium Falcon. Did I tell you about going to the Lego shop though?
No. Do they have one there?
Yeah, they had. It was ridiculously huge.
Was it like as big as our table?
It's as big as this table.
Okay.
It is magnificent.
How far into the from a certain point of view are you?
About halfway through.
Okay, I'm only like an eighth of the way through.
I enjoy the book, and we didn't bring it up in Pages, Pixels, or Pieces because we haven't finished the book yet, and I'd rather just have a kind of complete discussion about it. But I'm really enjoying it. The only thing that kind of stinks is there's a couple it's in dialogue, but there's a couple of these great things in Star Wars that fans have debated for a while. Like, I'll give you an example, and this could be considered a spoiler, but when in A New Hope, the droids jettison the escape pod, and they're spiraling through, and the Star Destroyer crew sees them, and they're like, oh, should we blast it? Oh, no, there's no life forms aboard. And it's like, why the hell didn't they just blow it up? I mean, like, the whole saga ends literally 15 minutes in the movie if they just blow it up. And they make the joke in the book that it's like, what, are we short on, like, laser fire now? Which I'm pretty sure was, like, fans have made that joke for a long time. Family Guy made a joke about it when they did their parody.
There's an entire story about it. They're like, okay, we can hide this screw up if you fill out these 15 forms.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, it's kind of like a ploy on corporate America. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think real quick, my staying on target, James Arnold Taylor is a really great guy. He's my voicemail right now on my phone. But he's also restarted his Clone Wars conversations. And so definitely go ahead and check that out because it's an hour at a time of great insight into the galaxy. So check that out. And, of course, Darth Vader #8, sweet cover coming out for that, so be on the lookout. That's going to do it. That's going to do it for episode 21. I want to thank you so much for joining us. David, thank you as always for being here. Short crew, but hopefully we'll have the full crew of 4 hosts on episode 22. You've watched Beyond the Blast Doors. If you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and tell all your friends. We'll see you soon.